Okay, let's talk about writing a novel. I mean, it can feel like this massive, impossible quest, right? It's magical one minute and just so frustrating the next. But here's the secret. It is completely 100% doable. And you know the difference between the people who actually finish a book and those who don't? It's not some crazy inborn talent. It's having a roadmap. So, in this explainer, that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're laying out a clear, step-by-step journey to get you to that first draft.
Yeah, we've all been there. You're staring at the blank page and that little cursor is just blinking, mocking you. It can be absolutely terrifying. But look at it another way. That blank page is also a page of pure, untapped potential. The real trick is just knowing how to take that first step, and then the next one, and the one after that, without getting totally lost in the woods.
All right, so our path today is broken down into 5 key milestones. We're going to start with finding your why, build up your main character, nail that opening hook, slay the myth of writer's block, and finally, lock in the habit of writing. See, it's not magic, it's just a map. So first things first, our journey doesn't actually begin with a plot twist or a cool character. Nope, we're starting with something way deeper, your why. Think of this as the call to adventure, you know? It's the absolute bedrock for everything else you're going to build. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds a little feel-good, right? But it's not. As writer and coach Savannah Gilbo makes super clear, your why is an actual practical tool. It's the fuel in your tank. It's what's going to keep you going through all those inevitable roadblocks, those late nights when inspiration feels like it's on another planet. So, take a second and really ask yourself these questions. Seriously, are you trying to share a message that you just have to get out there? Do you have characters in your head that are screaming to come to life? Or maybe you're aiming to make this a career. Heck, maybe it's just your personal Mount Everest. There are no wrong answers. The goal is just to find that one reason that's going to power you through the whole marathon. And once you have it, write it down. Stick it on your monitor. Make it your phone's wallpaper. Keep it front and center.
Okay, you've got your why locked in. That's your compass. Now, it's time to find the hero of your story, your main character. This is where the road of trials really kicks off. Because, let's be honest, the heart of any truly great story is a protagonist that we just can't get out of our heads. I mean, this is basically storytelling 101, right? A reader needs someone to connect with, someone to root for, someone to follow into the dark. Think about it. Plot is just the stuff that happens. But the character, that's who it happens to. And that's what makes us actually care. So the big question is, how do you actually create a character that feels, well, real? You can't just snap your fingers and hope they appear fully formed. This is where a character worksheet comes in. Seriously, this thing is a writer's secret weapon. It takes this big, abstract idea of character creation and makes it concrete, tangible, and super focused. And it all comes down to asking the right questions. This framework here, inspired by the great Jerry Jenkins, gets right to the heart of it. What does your character want more than anything? What are their flaws? And they have to have flaws. What or who is standing in their way? And this one is so important. What happens if they fail? What are the stakes? Because those stakes, they have to be high enough to keep a reader turning pages for an entire book. All right, you've got your motivation, you've got your hero. Now comes the moment of truth, the first page. This is the next big challenge on our journey, hooking your reader from that very first sentence and just not letting them go. And listen, the stakes here could not be higher. This quote from Louise Doughty says it all. Agents and publishers will probably make up their mind by the end of the first page. Maybe even sooner. You don't get 50 pages to warm up. You get 1. No pressure, right? But here's the good news. There's a recipe for a killer opening. It's not some dark art. You need an engaging hook, a little mystery. You need an interesting character right away. You need to show us what that character wants and what's in their way. You need high stakes, and you need to ground it all in a strong, clear setting. You nail those things, and you're golden. Okay, we've come to that part of the journey where most adventurers face their biggest, scariest dragon, the dreaded writer's block. But what if I told you that dragon isn't even real? Yeah, you heard me. Best-selling author Jerry Jenkins basically calls it a myth, and his logic is pretty solid. I mean, think about it. If writer's block was a real thing, why don't surgeons get surgeon's block? You can't just call your boss and say, sorry, you can't come in today, I've got a bad case of worker's block, right? So what's really going on here? Well, according to Jenkins, what we call writer's block is just a spooky costume for one of 4 very real and very solvable problems. Number 1, fear.
The classic, am I good enough? Number 2, procrastination. Suddenly deciding your entire house needs to be deep cleaned right now. 3, perfectionism. Trying to edit every sentence before you've even finished the paragraph. And 4, distractions. Hello, social media. The point is, once you name the real enemy, you can actually fight it. And here's a wild, kind of counterintuitive solution for the biggest culprit, which is fear. Don't try to fight it. Don't try to crush it. Embrace it. Look, the fear that you might not be good enough, that's a legitimate fear. Writing a book is really, really hard. So let that fear humble you, because that humility is what's going to motivate you to put in the hard work. And the hard work is what leads to success. So, you've stared down the dragon, and you're still standing. We're at the final act now. This is all about turning this whole journey into a real, sustainable habit. This is how you make the leap from being an aspiring writer to just being a writer. And really, it all boils down to one word: consistency. John Grisham's advice here is just pure gold. Write 1 page a day. That's it. We're talking maybe 200 words. It's such a small, non-scary goal, but if you do it every single day, you build this incredible, unstoppable momentum. And please, whatever you do, stop waiting for inspiration to show up. Jack London had it exactly right. You don't wait for inspiration, you go after it with a club. Inspiration doesn't start the work creates the inspiration. You gotta be proactive. And finally, this might just be the most freeing piece of advice you'll ever hear. Jodi Picoult nails it. You can always edit a bad page. You can't edit a blank page. Give yourself permission to write a terrible first draft. The goal is not perfection, it's just finishing. You can fix bad sentences. You can't fix a page that doesn't exist. So there it is. You have the roadmap. We've gone from finding that first spark of motivation all the way to building the daily habit of putting words down. The entire path is laid out right in front of you. The only question left is, what story are you going to tell?